What's going on, YouTube? It's my 93 Del Sol that I'm currently doing body work to. I'm going to try to get it done here soon. So I figure I'll shoot a couple clips as I'm doing it. Right now I'm getting everything stripped off of it. The door handles, mirrors, lights. So after I get all that done, I'll get back with you guys. Alright guys, in order to get this door handle off, there's a linkage right there. And it's got this. You put it on there and you spin it. Well, there ain't no room back there to get back there and grab a hold of it and turn it. But I finally got it. I used some needle nose pliers, some long reach ones. I was able to get back in there and put the needle nose portion in the little prongs there and then turn it. So yeah, that was not fun. Alright, I'm gonna get back to it. Alright, in order to remove the door panel on this Del Sol, there's a screw back there for the door handle, which mine's broke. I'm going to replace it. There's a screw back here behind the handle that you pull it shut with. There's a plastic trim screw right here. You can screw it, and then the base of it removes right here. The screws gets inserted, and as you tighten it up, these spread open and hold it still. And this right here you slide over and pull out. Then you release your lock and your handle cable back there. And then you remove it completely. And in order to remove the mirror, you take your door panel off. If you look into here, see there's two 10mm bolts right there. There's those two, then back behind that window track there's one right here. It's kind of a pain to get to. I use a wrench for that one. And those two you can get to with a extension and 10mm. I use my little impact gun here. Just zip them off like that. And then drop the bolts down, or nuts down like I do every time. And there's what the back of it looks like. Your 3 bolts that stick through, then you got your nuts that you unloosen. for the door handle, you have one 10mm bolt there, and you pull this plug out right there, and there's another one you gotta remove. There it is. So I like to remove the window switches from the door panels, so this way you can just plug them in. You're not messing around with the door panels, so you're able to roll the window up and down still. Then when you're not using it, put it up in here so this way you don't shut it in the door and bust it. Help if the window wasn't locked. Make sure you remove your flashlight if you put something in there to be able to see before you roll the window down. Okay, now in order to remove this window trim here, you have to take out the Phillips screw here. Then you have to kind of twist it out and get these plastic clips right here out from underneath the trim there. Then as you're doing it, you pull up and twist, and it should release it. You probably will end up breaking a couple clips. I did on the other side, but it's a 93, so they're pretty brittle. I heard a couple of them break, but for the most part, they're all still good. It's like 2 of them. Now on this side, there's a push pin right here that holds the trim in the inside of the door. You can just take some needle nose pliers, sit behind that, and pop it out. Alright, next thing we're going to do is remove the headlights. The reason why I like removing everything is so this way when you go tape along the edges here, there's no line that don't get painted. And I don't want the paint lifting up underneath. So I like to remove all the easier stuff rather than tape it off. And there's a Phillips screw down in here that removes your side marker light. And you have a 10mm bolt here, here, there, and I think there's one down here on the side somewhere. I'll have to look for it. I'll show you after I get it off. Okay, so you take the one Phillips screw out here for the side light. After you do that, there's a 10mm bolt down here for the headlight. So there's 4 bolts total for the headlight to get it out. And another thing I like to do is when I remove something, I like to screw the bolts down in the spots where they came out of, so this way you're not losing bolts or have bolts left over. Little tip. Alright, so I ain't taking the headlight all the way out. When I go to pull it out, there's there's an adjuster back here. And it's getting wedged in there, so the only way to do it is take the bumper off, and I don't really want to take the bumper off. So I'm able to get tape back here and take the whole headlight off and not have tape on the bumper. So it still don't work out like I wanted, just not exactly. There is 2 screws I've already taken out. One there, and one over here on the other side. Then I'm guessing the brake lights ought to be removed to remove that top panel. And most likely there's going to have to be something underneath the headliner there. So I'm going to have to remove that also. So I'm going to get that removed and take the top off. Check out my handles I 3D printed. I ended up breaking both of them, so I printed some off of my 3D printer. They work pretty good. I didn't think they last very long, but they're holding up. So I'm going to get that removed and then I'll fill you in. Alright, so the dome light had 1 screw right there. That was kind of a pain to get out. There was little clips that hold it up. I was scared I was going to break it, but surprisingly I didn't. After you get that off, the headliner just kind of pulls down. There's a couple clips. There, and there. When you're doing it, just pull the headliner out from your little lockdowns for your top. These right here. And just give it a good pull and it came right down. The reason why we did that is because there's a clip right here for the top self-end thing. And also your third brake light plugs in back there. In this hole right there. After that's removed, you got 2 Phillips screws. One on this side. And one on this side. So I'm going to get those removed and we'll see if I can't break anything. Okay, got kind of lucky on that one. I only broke one. Also, when I was getting the third brake light out, the little screw plugs, I broke one of those also. Very brittle. Alright, let's see if I can get lucky on this side. Okay, and that's how that's removed. This one actually, I didn't break none of the little clips, but this right here snapped a little bit, which shouldn't be no big deal. We got the self ends taken off. I was going to keep them on there, but there's a little piece of rubber that I didn't want to have to mask off. Right there along the edge, which looking at now looks like I could probably do it with them on there, but it's alright. They're off now and I can clean up the drains. So now I have to remove the antenna, the windshield washer sprayers, and I don't know if I'm going to attempt the windshield trim. Those are constantly out in the sun baking and they're pretty brittle. I really have luck removing them. So I'm gonna go ahead and start removing the antenna, and I'll let you guys know how to do that when I figure it out. Alright, so I removed this trim piece in the trunk, the carpet, and I got to looking. Well, I can see anyway, that's the antenna tube. But I'm pretty sure that silver piece there is a nut. So I'm going to try unscrewing that, and hopefully I don't break anything, but we'll see what happens. Alright, well I got that off. I would not recommend doing it with a screwdriver if you're not going to be painting it. I've been pretty mad if I was just replacing something on it. But that's off. Now, time to figure out how to get this up. Alright, looks like the rubber piece is just stuck on there from age. I just pried up a little bit and popped right off, and then just shove it in there all the way. But yeah, I broke it loose with a screwdriver. I'm pretty sure there's a special set of pliers that, you know, those little holes there to remove them. I used a hammer and a screwdriver and kept beating it around. Channel locks you couldn't really quite get into around them because this curvature here. But it's off, that's all that matters. I'd honestly like just patch this and not have one on here. I don't listen to radio anyway. But we'll see how that goes. Alright, so the windshield washer sprayers, there and there. You pop the hood, and you can see them poking through the hood there, and that green piece there. So what you're going to do is remove the hoses without trying to break those, because again, it's old. There's two little plastic tabs that hold it in. You squeeze those together and you press out, and they should pop right out if it goes well. A couple little tips on some old stuck hoses is you can try needle nose, but don't squeeze very hard because again it'll break. It's just plastic. You just pinch it and turn it, and it kind of breaks it free. But as you can see, it's flared out there, and since the hose is all old and brittle, I like to take a little bit of heat to it, kind of soften it back up some. Not too much because it will melt, just rubber. And it pulls right off. You squeeze your little clips. And of course I broke one. That should still stay in there. And there's one. Alright guys, there's those. Turns out I didn't break the first one. That was just a little rubber gasket so the water don't get down there. This one over here is up inside the support of the hood. Needling those pliers will help you release the clips. Alright guys, I removed the trunk lock cylinder. It was pretty simple. There was one bolt, and it went right there, which held the lock cylinder in place. Right there. Then in order to pull it out, there is you can see how the one side up here has a notch that has to be lined up, and then you pull it out. Then the rubber, just you pull it in and it comes right out. Then these right here for the rear emblem, I'm going to pop those out and fill in the holes. I ain't going to have a rear emblem on it. I done decided I am not taking any more seals off. I started looking at this one and it does not look healthy down there. So I'm afraid I'm not breaking the seals or causing problems. So I'll just tape those off, unfortunately. I'll tape that one off, this one off, and then around the windshield. But other than that, it's about done being stripped, I do believe. I really want my fog lights out, but I don't want to take the bumper off. I'm afraid I ain't gonna be able to get it lined back up perfectly. So I might feed some tape back in there. I'll walk you guys through it when I go do that part. And I do have to pop the side markers out, which I imagine you just press out one side. Oh, yep. This is reflectors on the lights. That kind of wraps up the whole stripping it down for paint. Then we'll make a video next on sanding it, fixing a couple of spots, and getting it prepped for paint. As far as taping it off goes, wiping it down, scuffing it all up. I am not a professional painter. I have painted 2 motorcycles before, never painted a car by myself. So this is going to be a first. I'm sure I'm going to do stuff wrong, but I kind of got the idea of how to do it. And I take more pride in doing it myself than having somebody else do it, so I'm going to give it a shot. And I'll walk you guys through the process. Thanks, you guys have a good day.